Woo! So let me guess, we're going to be bending forks today.
I do some of these things just for me. How are you today?
Doing good.
Dun, dun, dun. I've been feeling not good.
Really?
Because I went to an event and they had food and I ate too much of it and it wasn't good food,
Oh,
that kind of thing.
I'm careful about that.
Yeah,
my tummy is too sensitive.
I should have been 2 pieces of cake and 2 scoops of ice cream and a root beer. Bunch of other stuff, greasy.
Yeah.
So that ain't good. Getting over that, because what happens is I end up getting that acid reflux thing, and then you're awake all night.
Yeah.
So I'm tired now.
I've gotten that before. I was.
That's not our topic, though.
I went through a whole thing about health, about acid reflux, and it is one of the things that sometimes clients will talk about is having acid reflux. So whenever I'm helping them, they want me to keep that in mind, so that way I pick the right herbs to go with that.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things that can happen with acid reflux is that your acid level is actually too low.
Yeah, I do a pickle, and it neutralizes it.
Nice.
And what I found is if I just don't do carbonated beverages, because the perfect storm for it is a cheeseburger with the greasy French fries, and then a chocolate malt and a root beer.
Oh, see, that just sounds like the perfect date for me and my wife right there.
It sounds good. It sounds good, but the grease mixed in with the ice cream and then the bubbles from the root beer, it makes it not good for me.
Yeah.
I used to be able to handle that stuff.
So the root beer float and a cheeseburger with greasy fries would be a no-no for you. Yeah. That'd be like the worst thing.
Unless it was like a morning thing.
Oh, okay.
Because then it has time to kind of readjust.
Or middle of the day.
Yeah, but even like 1 or 2, it's kind of risking it.
You're not digesting fast enough.
No, it's just so I just cut it out. But I was at an event and I saw a guy grab a root beer and I thought, I haven't had a root beer for a long time, so I'm just gonna have a root beer. I wasn't thinking that, okay, now I'm gonna eat and salami with the greasy stuff in there and then cheeses and then watermelon kind of fills you up too and ice cream and cake, and they had 2 different cakes. So they say, which one do you want? Do you want the vanilla or the chocolate? And I thought, give me one of each. And then Monica said, do you want ice cream? And she knows I like ice cream, so I get the ice cream. There's 2 scoops. So
hopefully the event was fun enough to make it worthwhile.
It doesn't make it worthwhile when you're up all night,
right,
doing that stuff. So I go out and sleep on the couch sitting up.
Sure,
that helps. Anyways, that's not our topic for today. The topic today was psychokinesis or telekinesis.
Nice.
And I guess there's a difference, and the difference is spelling.
Yeah, I think the 2 of those actually do mean the same thing.
That's what I understand. In fact, the pattern for a routine that I used to do was, who out here has ever heard of psychokinesis or telekinesis, the ability to move things or bend things or shape shift things with your mind? That's what I would ask. Some people would raise their hand, and then you're supposed to say, so whoever believes that, please raise my hand.
Yeah, I've heard that one before.
Yeah.
Yeah, it works really well.
So I was at an event once.
The whole crowd usually laughs.
Yeah. I was at an event once it was actually a metaphysical event.
Sure.
And I was bending some forks and stuff. And a lady comes up and goes, I got a friend that does that. And I go, you mean like a magic trick? He goes, no, he really does it. And I don't want to get into a debate or anything like that, but he wasn't really doing it. Some people think that it can be done. My mom used to think that she could do it because remember Uri Geller?
No, I don't.
He was the psychic guy that would get on all the talk shows and bend spoons and move things, and he was a magician, but he played himself off as some kind of the ability to bend
metal. I probably did see him at some point on
You probably did if you
show,
watched
but
Mike Douglas or Johnny Carson or any of those
yeah,
talk shows. He
I
was
saw
doing it.
Johnny
Phil
Carson a few
Donahue,
times. Phil Donahue.
stuff like
Yeah.
that. And my mom used to do what she was told. You're supposed to go to your kitchen and grab yourself a couple of spoons,
Hmm.
and you align them and do some juju stuff. And then when you put them back together, they look like they're bent,
Hmm.
and it's not what really happened. Without revealing any magic secrets, I'm just saying that there's secrets to that.
Yeah.
Someone that is trained can go, okay, he's doing that move. Whereas someone
Sure.
else would go, oh my God, I bent a spoon.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. It's pretty interesting. I I have seen some really strange things in my life. I really have. I have witnessed a lot of
We all have.
very bizarre things that I am positive were supernatural. However, I have never seen anybody do anything that was telekinetic in any way that would make me believe that there wasn't some kind of trick involved.
Well, there's ways of doing things where you're really doing it, but it seems magical because you're doing that thing and you wouldn't think that you can do that. An example
Sure.
is David Blaine puts an ice pick through his hand.
Right, right. You
And
could
he's
totally do that.
really doing that because he
Right,
knows where the bone is, and it's super, super, super sharp,
right,
polished up and stuff, so it doesn't create any blah, blah, blah. And you can poke a hole. Just like you can poke a pin in your finger, you can poke an ice pick through your hand.
right.
And it's creepy as hell. And he really does it. Like he does the thing with the
Yeah,
frogs. He regurgitates frogs. He
right.
drinks a lot of water and then he swallows the frogs. He really does that.
Yeah,
But it seems like, oh my God, how did he do that trick? That's not a trick. It's the real deal. But to
right,
somebody that doesn't know that you can really do that, they think he's evil.
right. Yeah, yeah. There are definitely some of those that I'm very well aware of. Like I read a book about what was his name? Edgar Casey.
Mhm.
Yeah, and they were talking about how whenever he was in a trance state, they would actually, for real, stick needles through him whenever he was in that trance state. And they would do this, and Edgar Casey was not trained in any of this. These were other people that were testing on Edgar Casey to see what he could handle in trance states. They would do mean things to him whenever he was in trance states, and they talk about it inside the book, and they have like videos of it and stuff.
Kind of like college kids with a Sharpie marker putting a mustache when you're passed out.
Yes, yes, that's exactly what it was like. And basically, they were like, "Oh yeah, can we do tests on you? Can we do experiments on you?" And yeah, he said yes. Not something I would recommend other people do.
Well, on the other side of it too, I do believe that, like you seen the movie Matrix,
Yes.
where the guy was bending the spoon with his mind. You see the spoon bend,
The cool
and
part was whenever it unbent.
yeah, went back into it. And Neo says, "How are you doing that?" And the guy, the prodigy kid, says, there is no spoon."
Yep.
Whereas deep thought is everything is energy. So a
Hmm.
spoon is just a manifestation of our mind. We see these things and we say, okay, that is a spoon. It's really just energy.
Hmm.
So you could make it appear to bend, maybe under psychedelics.
Sure.
You can say there is no spoon, it's all energy, let's bend it. So there is that part of believing in telekinesis, that this physical world we live in isn't really physical.
Right. I mean, the vast majority of it is made up by space.
Right. So I
It's the
can go
space
with it
between
with
the
that.
molecules.
But then there are physical laws
Hmm.
like gravity, and a force in motion tends to stay in motion.
Hmm.
And what is some of the other ones? I don't know, physics. Physics, there's rules behind stuff. You can't pass through. Oh, you can do this. You can do this thing. Have you seen this thing where you go like that? Reach. Does it look weird?
No.
Doesn't look weird?
No.
You go like this. Doesn't look like the hand goes through. So if you're seeing and you see this grab,
Yeah.
I might not be doing it right. But
Maybe.
you get the time, you get the timing right so that you think that this hand is going to grab this hand, and then this hand takes over, and it ends up looking like it went through the hand. So I'm probably doing it wrong or something.
Interesting.
Just weird stuff like that. I mean, you've probably seen the optical illusion of the train going by, and then when you look at it, you see it going the other direction.
Yeah.
So you can change it with your mind.
Yeah. My mom subscribed to Omni Magazine whenever I was a kid, which Omni Magazine is not around anymore, I don't think. But whenever I was a little boy, I mean like 3, my mom used to get Omni Magazine, and she used to like take out all of the optical illusions. She got it, you know, she started getting Omni Magazine whenever she was like 14. And so she was still getting it when I was a little boy, because she had me whenever she was 16.
Mm-hmm.
So she would just start showing me all the optical illusions in it. So I'm used to seeing optical illusions. I've been seeing them since I was a little kid. So it's easy for me to shift my perspective to see the other things in optical illusions.
Yeah, have you seen the thing where the elephant's got 5 legs and then he's got 4 legs?
Yeah.
You've seen the fork that ends up having 3 prongs to it, and then 2 depending on which side you're looking at.
Yeah, how you're looking at it. Or there's the 2 faces with the candle in the middle.
Yep. And it depends on if you're looking at the candle or the faces.
Yep. Yeah, and then they have they have a whole bunch of really cool ones like that. The old
lady and the young lady.
Yep, old lady and the young lady.
Or the rabbit and the duck.
Yep.
Yeah, so there's all these things, a point of view, how are you looking at all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, some of them are really cool, like 5D stuff. They that's what they used to call them back in the day. They basically called them 5D pictures, and basically the way that you would look at these pictures, you put your face way up to them, and then you let your eyes blur, and then you start to move it really slowly away until all of a sudden this image would go and just pop out of it, and you'd be like, "Whoa, where did that come from?"
Well, you've seen those things too, where they're just black and white, and you stare at it for a long period of time, and then when you kind of look away and look at like a white wall, you see a picture of Jesus.
Yeah, things like that. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or a piece of toast with Jesus on it.
So that's
in case you guys don't know, if you're not old enough, it's an old thing where somebody one day made toast and they said, "Oh, it's a miracle. There's a Jesus on it." And it became this international thing because a guy made toast and it looked like a Jesus head.
Yeah.
It's kind of a very strange thing that would become international news, but it did.
Good PR person.
Right.
Yeah, so I believe in telekinesis, but I don't believe in telekinesis because I don't think that humans have the ability to do something like that, because there's physical laws that were created by the highest creator, and you can't get around them.
Sure.
Unless you're in sync with that highest creator, and then maybe you're doing an ayahuasca situation or something. And then it appears as though something, like when that guy's head disappeared in Costa Rica. Did his head really disappear, or could I just not see it?
Right. Right. Yeah, it's the telekinesis one I've just never noticed. I have seen weird things with flames, though.
What do you mean?
Weird things that I could not.
You mean the flame moves?
It'll jump for, yeah. There was a guy one time who was like, made the flame go shh and move to the other candle. That was really weird.
There is a way of doing that, and what happens is it's the smoke. When you blow it out, the smoke will then, there's something in it so you can reignite, yes. That's
really weird. Yeah, I've seen that one. That one's really weird. I don't know if there was a trick to it or not, but it's funny. I'm an extremely spiritual person, and I have witnessed a lot of, as I already said, a lot of things that are just completely unexplainable in my life. However, at the same time, I'm extremely skeptical. And whenever I see something, I don't presume what I believe I saw happened. I always presume that there must be something I don't understand yet.
Right. And that's a good way of going about it, again, because there are physical laws that's the way things work. and you can perceive them as not being, like when I saw the guy disappear when I was in California,
Yeah.
walking down the beach, and he disappeared. Did he really disappear? No, he walked into a shirt shop. I just
Sure.
didn't see it because the timing was right. So the mind can be tricked by stuff. But let
Right.
me do my little demonstration.
Oh yeah, we gonna do fork bending?
Yeah.
All right, sweet. Let's do it. Let's
So
see. Are they all aligned good? Here,
I
let's
got
see.
them. I tried to get them as aligned as possible.
Let
And
me
you can
let me
clang
look.
them together so that they're actually metal.
Yep. Okay. See? All right, hold on.
They're real metal.
Yeah, they're actually metal. These are real forks. So we're gonna do the magic
So
trick
get
of
rid
it.
of one. Just set,
Okay.
set one over here, anyone you want.
I want this one. This one's the straightest.
Put that one aside. No, put
I put the straight one
We're gonna
aside?
use
Oh, hold
we're
on.
gonna use the two.
I'll get rid of this one. These two are like perfect.
That's what I'm trying to do is get them all lined up.
Yeah, those ones are like perfect.
Like if I was using spoons, they call this spooning.
Yeah.
You know, back in the olden days, mom and dad used to go spooning.
But that's not forking.
They were cuddling. That's kind of my point. So these are close to the same. Yes?
Yeah.
Close?
Yeah.
Okay, so do you want to use the one in my left hand or right hand?
Left hand.
Okay, we'll put that one on top. Come on. There it goes. There it goes. Look at it. There. It's kind of happened already.
Fun.
Let's do it. Just take your finger and just rub right here, just gently. There goes some more. Good. See how it happens? It starts. These are. You can actually use physics and bend it back too, so you can do that way. Okay.
Nice.
That's supposedly the way. Just keep focus on the fork.
Okay.
We'll see what we can have happen here. There it goes. Starting to happen. See it?
Oh yeah.
I don't know if you can see that from far, far away, from a land far, far away. But the little tiny little bent right there.
Yeah. So they totally just happened like right in front of my eyes. Here we go. Oh yeah, and there you go. Now you can see it.
Right before your very eyes. Now,
Yep.
the reason I have multiple forks here is to kind of distract you from the stuff that's going on. That's why I've got others, because sometimes people think that I'm like switching them or something.
Yeah.
Okay, but there's just one. Those are just a distraction.
Okay.
There you go. A little bit further. It's starting to happen again.
Sure.
I can't see that, but that's okay. You'll have to zoom in. There it is.
Nice.
There it is. And I got a little more forked up. So the tines are happening. Now this is supposed to be done with the mind, so we're focusing on the mind power. So you should be able to do that too. So just focus on it and focus. There it goes. See it going?
Mm-hmm.
Just like that. More little bend. Let's start getting all bent up here. Now, like I said, you can kind of straighten these things back out. You just gotta force it back straight. Okay.
Okay.
So hold your hand up like this. There it goes. Okay, it's starting to happen. See it? It's doing its thing right there. Look at that. Cool. Fun. It does that little twisty thing in there.
Nice. That's fun.
You can do it too if you just focus on it. It'll melt like butter. See how it just melts like butter? Just like that.
Mm-hmm.
There you go. You can keep that. Someday it'll be worthless.
Cool.
So that's all sleight of hand kind of thing. I haven't done it for a long, long time. But there's a lot of other elements you can put into these kind of things to make it appear as though it's really magic.
Yeah.
And some people see that and they go, yeah, I got a friend that does that. If he's a magician, maybe, but.
It would be fun to be able to do it, like literally hang it from a string and then have it do it.
There are ways of doing that.
Yeah?
Yeah. There are ways of doing that because people do that. Magicians get together and they go, wouldn't it be cool if you could do that? Hands off. So
Yeah.
yes, there are ways of doing that too.
Oh, that's cool.
You might have seen things where they use the mind to like break glass. Maybe not.
No, but that one wouldn't even shock me because I know ultrasonic frequencies that we can't hear could break glass.
Right, but and if you're in a theater, people don't think that there's some kind of ultraviolet frequency that's doing that kind of thing. But they just put like a glass on a table and all of a sudden
That
shatters
is
glass.
exactly where my mind goes with
Yeah,
that. Is a directed ultrasonic frequency.
yeah.
I don't know if that's what they're using, but that is what
That
my
would
mind would
that
go
would
to.
be one way of doing it.
Yeah.
There's always a way.
Yeah.
If you get creative instead of just assuming that it's magic, you can figure out a way of making it happen. You could have a sharpshooter off to the back of the stage with a BB gun.
You could. I don't know if that one would I don't know if that would look as cool. Because like the
Well,
shattering and the way that it would break and everything would be different.
I don't know how it would break, but I mean, but my point being, there's always a way to
Yeah.
get creative to make something happen. And the way that the magic basically works is you take reality and get the reality out of the picture and just
Yeah.
show a table and a glass, and you can check and look and see this is just a normal table and a normal glass, and there's nothing in my hands and there's nothing up my sleeves, and you've got a witness here and a witness here, and you remove all the possibilities except for
Yeah.
the real deal, and then you
Mhm.
just do the real deal and it looks like magic.
Yeah.
That's how all this stuff happens.
Right.
The Statue of Liberty didn't really disappear, but it looked like it.
Yeah, Statue of Liberty was a great illusion. I liked that illusion. There was a moon disappearing one that somebody did.
Oh, he did. Copperfield just recently did that.
Yeah.
The moon thing. I had that idea. I was thinking about doing it out at the Excelsior,
Yeah.
Lake Minnetonka. Idea to do something like that.
That's cool.
Yeah, you can kind of create any kind of illusion. Anyways, that's what telekinesis is. We're done.
We can be. We don't have to.
Poof, just like that. So what did I put? The title was Telekinesis versus Psychokinesis, Myth, Magic, or Reality. And we kind of covered all that, so we should probably talk about something else. Let's talk about the stuff that Casey does with the psychedelic consultations and all that,
Sure.
because that situation happened to me when I was in Costa Rica. I was in Costa Rica and I did an ayahuasca ceremony. For those that don't know, Casey, you can tell them what an ayahuasca ceremony is.
Yeah, it's a traditional South American ritual that has two different plants that they mix together. One has a high amount of DMT in it. The other one is an MAOI. And they mix these two plants together into a boiled down kind of soup, if you will. They cook it down, and then you take a little cup of it. It's usually about 1 ounce to 1.5 ounces, so it's like a little shot. You take that shot, and it makes you have lots and lots of things to look at.
So I read somewhere, I thought this is the way it worked, that DMT naturally happens in your system, and there's something in your system that prevents that from happening. Otherwise, you'd always be hallucinating on stuff. And what ayahuasca does is allows that chemical to release the DMT so that you do experience a hallucination. Is that?
Not exactly. So the jury is out on whether our brain actually creates DMT. The reason why they think that our brain creates DMT is because there was some cadavers that whenever they checked the cadavers, they did brain tissue samples and they found DMT that was in the brain. Now, mind you, this only happened a few times. So the theory is that we do create DMT. There's been a whole lot of discussions that have happened since that discovery to talk about whether we actually create DMT or not. The idea is that it's our pineal gland that actually does create that, and it's the pineal gland that actually lights up when you're having a religious experience or whenever you're seeing things in your mind's eye. And the reason why that happens is because the pineal gland actually has connections to the brain similar to the way the eye has connections to the brain. So it literally is a third eye, and it's located right here.
Mhm.
So that is where the pineal gland is located. So your third eye, so to speak, is something that they have scientifically found. And the idea is that's where the DMT ends up happening at. Now, there are some fascinating things about DMT. Um, I'll finish answering your question. So, one of the things that happens with DMT is in a crystalline form. When they apply any type of energy or anything to that DMT to break the DMT down, um, past that crystal, it actually causes a flash of light. And usually, if they catch it on, they can catch it on full spectrum cameras and stuff like
Hmm.
that, and they can actually see colors. And that's
Oh,
literally what you
that's
see
interesting.
inside the DMT space. So it's very interesting. Yeah, it is very interesting. So even outside of the body, it seems to have some kind of way of being able to create some of that inside the DMT space and talking about, how that functions. When you take that, your body naturally takes in that DMT because the DMT is natural to the body. So your body just treats it like it's just there
Well, let me
and it
ask
doesn't
you
really do
this.
anything with it. And your liver doesn't process it. And that's normally what happens is the liver ends up destroying the DMT because of the MAOI that you take. It actually shuts down the degradation of the DMT for a while.
Okay. So when you get into the hallucinogenic, psychedelic element of stuff,
Mhm.
going back into the telekinesis, psychokinesis thing, is it possible that, okay, I'm doing the ayahuasca experience and I start thinking about this is what I want to experience? Can I control my own journey so I end up having a telekinetic hallucination where I see myself bending a spoon, even if it really physically didn't? I think that it did because I'm convincing myself that that's the situation. Then the second part of that question is, if we're having the experience together, can I convince you to have the same visual um, hallucinogenic experience seeing the spoon bend together?
That is a complicated
It
question.
is.
So,
'Cause
ayahuasca is one of the few psychedelics that are out there that actually respond to your needs inside of it. Ayahuasca is pretty much the only one I know of that you can like have a super 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 strong experience whenever you're going in and you're like, "Oh my god, this is too much. I'm frying balls and I need this to stop. Please, I don't need this much. This is too much." And all of a sudden ayahuasca will go, "Okay, this is more gentle now." And it will actually tailor itself to where you need to be. It's very interesting. It really is like the spirit of ayahuasca, the green lady, as a lot of people will call it, will be very in tune with what you need. So, to your question, if you wanted to have an experience like that, would it be possible? Yeah, it'd be possible. I don't know if you'd achieve it, but it would be possible.
Right, because the mother ayahuasca would say, "What are you doing?
Yeah, yeah, probably.
There's bigger fish to fry than you have in your little psychedelic experience."
Right, right. I think so. I do think so. Now, as far as the joint hallucination, well, I mean, group hallucinations do happen often, but the weird
With
things,
intention?
I would have to say that they must have happened. Like I have not witnessed one,
But I
right?
mean, it is a situation like a lot of people see the octopus, because that's a common
Yeah.
deity. But would you do it with intention? Say, no, we're going for a unicorn this time. Now we both agree that we're going to see the six-legged unicorn.
I don't see why not. I mean, really, I don't see why not. I mean, if you have in your head that you want to see a six-legged unicorn, I don't see why you couldn't see a six-legged unicorn. It would be more interesting to go in with no intention. And whenever you go with no intention, you have the experience that you need to have in the moment. And that experience ends up changing your life, though.
Well, I didn't expect for this guy's head to disappear. And then when I analyzed this, when I did the ayahuasca ceremony, I saw a guy walking around. I knew he was a real guy because I'd seen him walking around. And then he walked under a light and his head disappeared. And I rationalize it by the light spectrum, saying that it happened where I was resonating at a different frequency because of the level that I was at. I could see his head not be there because the light was vibrating at a different frequency where there is no spoon, there is no head.
Sure. Yeah. I had an experience on mescaline one time where this lady ended up getting inside her vehicle. She was a large lady, and she gets inside her vehicle. And when she sat down, the vehicle, I was expecting the vehicle to, kind of settle a little bit whenever she got in, but instead it was a cartoon vehicle, and it went all the way down to the ground, flattened out, stretched out, and then bounced all the way back up. Totally like a cartoon. And I was like, oh, okay. I guess I'm really out there. Because that was, it was like, I wasn't having any other hallucinations. And then that happened. And I went, oh, okay. Apparently I am having hallucinations.
Did you attach that to anything that was meaningful?
No, just that it was trippy.
Okay. Because when I saw the guy's head disappear, I related it to I'm vibrating at a different frequency in this universe.
Yeah.
And it was kind of helpful to me understanding that it's a spectrum.
Mm.
And then when I saw the DMT beings, the tall guys that were helping with the confrontations and stuff, I realized that they are always there. It's just that I saw them because I was vibrating at that different frequency.
Sure.
Again.
Yeah, see,
and this could all be bullshit too.
The only DMT entity experience that I ever had was the one weekend I did ayahuasca, because I've done DMT other times, but the one weekend while I did that I did an ayahuasca retreat. And during that retreat, I had a distinct impression. I didn't see it, but I had a distinct impression of a little guy. And they were small. It was not a big guy. It was these little creatures who basically came up to me, and because you do 2 cups like in a night, usually at an ayahuasca ceremony, it's like you do the 1 cup, and then as you're going in, then you take your 2nd cup. The 2nd cup is what really, you go really far in. And I was having physical issues, so I was like, I'm not going to take that 2nd cup tonight. I'm listening to my body. My body's telling me no. And so next thing I know, this little DMT entity went and grabbed the cup and walked over to me and put it directly into my stomach. And the funny thing about it was it literally launched me. Like, I was sobering during that moment. I was like, I'm like sobering up. The load on my body was going down. It was getting less like stressful to my physical body, because that was the issue I was having, was that, because you were talking about it, how you just you can go out of everywhere, right? And I was having a little bit of that, and yeah, and then this little entity, I'm like, I'm not doing that. I'm just laying there, and all of a sudden this little entity comes up to me and goes, and just puts it in my belly, and I went.
Well, they call them DMT entities, but that's just because there's DMT that's involved, and then there is these little entities that show up. But they may be beings or aliens or whatever from other dimensions or other vibrations or other spectrums. And there's little people and there's tall people.
And that's where that bizarre study they're doing is coming into play right now. They're actually in London. Pretty sure it's London. They're doing a study right now mapping the DMT verse, and they're having people go in to these ayahuasca trips or these DMT trips, and They're actually doing it where they put people on like slow drip DMT and things like that. And while they're in this space, they're telling them, "Oh yeah, now I'm going through a tunnel. I am going through this landscape that looks like this. Okay, now I'm coming across this menagerie of that looks almost like a circus in space, and there's a bunch of people there, and there's this person with 4 arms, and you know, like all these bunch of things." So the funny thing is that the reason why they started mapping it is because it doesn't matter where you are in the world. It doesn't matter whether you have people around you telling you that you're going to experience this. A lot of people have the same experience on it. And it's the only psychedelic that does that.
So when they do these surveys and things, do they say, we're looking for somebody that's never had this experience and has not talked to anyone about these experiences that people have had? So there's sort of a clean slate?
So I know that in some of the experiences, like where they were actually looking for people's experiences, they went scouring through trip reports for people who said that that was the case. They were like, yeah, I don't talk to anybody about this. This is the first time I ever did anything like this, and here was my experience.
Got it.
And that was pretty normal. The other DMT entity thing that I had was not, I wouldn't really call it an entity, because this is something that I have heard people call them DMT insects, but they're almost like little automaton robots, but they walk around like insects, right? 6 legs and crawling around, and it looked almost like I want to say a walking stick, except huge.
Or a little cootie. Remember the cootie
like
game?
That. Yeah, yeah. Well, the weird thing is though, is that a lot of people have an experience that like almost like they're dissecting you. Not that they're dissecting you to like hurt you or something. It's like they're doing surgery on you, like they're fixing you in some way. And that is exactly what I experienced. It came up to me and it went, and it opened up my head, and then it kind of went in there with a little tool, like a little like tools, and was like poking around, like repairing something.
That's wild.
Yeah, it was so strange. It was really weird. That was definitely one of the trippier experiences I had. On mescaline, my biggest experience was the most profound experience I had was actually my experience with a spirit animal. So a raven came and sat next to me and hung out for a while and was talking to me.
So they do these experiments. Are they controlling the amount of DMT?
Yes.
They're not brewing it like in an ayahuasca.
No, they're precise controlling the DMT in the experiments. Yeah.
And where are they getting it? Do they extract it?
I think
from?
They're synthesizing it.
Okay, so synthesize. Where do they get it from though?
I mean, there's so many plants that contain DMT. It would be hard for me to
see,
tell
that
you
makes
exactly
it really
where
confusing. If they have these roots and stuff in Peru in the Amazon jungle, and now these guys are going into their backyard and pulling dandelions and pulling DMT.
No, not dandelions, but there's a lot of plants that have it. So, I mean, there are other plants that have high amounts of DMT. It's not just the ones down in Peru. And there's a lot of different activating stuff. I mean, the captivate is just one MAOI. St. John's wort's another MAOI.
But couldn't it be different kinds of DMT depending on where or what region you picked it from?
It has the same chemical structure. Dimethyltryptamine.
Exact same?
Well, it's dimethyltryptamine.
Yeah, but
there's other forms of DMT out there, like the toad is 5-MeO-DMT. That's a different chemical structure, though.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It might be a subtle difference.
Well, they check the chemical structures on these things, and you know, they're same chemical structure that they're utilizing.
Well, that's another story too. That guy that did the multiplication table and decided that 1 times 1 still equals 1, so it's not multiplying, therefore it's null and void.
Oh, well, yeah, you're talking about what's his name?
Your wife had sent it over to me too.
Howard.
Yeah, and he redid the elemental chart to not be a grid but be curved. because the idea that there are no straight lines in the universe because everything's moving in a spiral.
Yeah.
So he kind of just tore apart the elemental chart, and gold is no longer gold now. It's something else.
I don't, here's the thing. I do not pretend to be an authority on chemistry in that way. So like the whole thing that he does with the elemental chart, I haven't really gone through that one. But the whole mathematical thing, there's obviously a fundamental disconnect of math in his head because it's about pairs and sets. And that is really what multiplication tables are about. Multiplication tables are just called multiplication. That is what we call it, is multiplication. However, it is really, it's that you're adding sets. That's all you're doing. I have sets of 4. I am now going to have one set of 4. So 4 times 1 is 4, because 4 times 1 is you're taking one set of 4. It's the same thing with ones, right? So you have one set of 1, and you take it one time. So instead of multiply, say take. Say I take one time.
Right. So he might
And now
be
you get 1.
using the word multiply too seriously when it was probably named wrong in the beginning. It must be.
I mean, the meaning has changed over thousands of years too. I mean, the mathematics as we know it today goes all the way back to like Euclid and Socrates and philosophers, from back then. So the language that we use now is not the language they would have used then.
It is all a weird thing. I mean, if you take one apple and then another apple, you have 2 apples. But then if you were to put them on a scale, they would weigh different if you took that apple and that apple and this apple and this apple. They weigh different.
Oh,
Even
yeah.
though 1 + 1 = 2, they weigh different.
Right.
They even taste different.
They do. They will look different. They will.
So the
They will
counting
taste
part is only
different.
good if you're counting. If you're going in to make a pie, it's kind of irrelevant.
Right. It is true. It is true.
I gotta see how much.
But I mean, that's the whole thing about the multiplying thing that he's talking about. I mean, he's discussing this whole thing about the multiplication, and he's trying to say that 1 times 1, it doesn't make sense. How can 1 times 1 = 1? And he goes off in this giant tangent on how that can't be the case. But the simplest answer is I have one set of 1, and I take it one time.
You want to see a card trick?
Absolutely.
See if I can do this.
Love card tricks.
This is a different kind of
It's
deal.
better than debating math, and where I think that guy is silly. I honestly think that guy just doesn't understand math. Well, my wife laughs at me whenever I say that.
Well, he came up with a concept of taking multiplication literally and then got rid of it.
As a small child. And then became obsessed with it.
I don't understand math.
Yeah. They let him give an entire lecture on it. I don't know why a university would entertain a
University is doing a lot of weird stuff.
But that's okay.
Okay, we got a red one and a black one.
Okay. Red one and a black one.
Let's see if I can remember how to do this. This has been a while.
Oh, I'm sure it'll come right back to you. It's like riding a bike.
I haven't done that for a while either.
Maybe it's time.
Okay, do this. We'll take this one and pinch it. Hold it level.
Pinch it not keep pinching it, just once. Okay.
Just hold it level. Got it tight?
Yeah. Do I have it tight?
Do you remember what color it is?
Yes.
You sure?
Yes.
Turn it over slowly and look. Slowly. And back down. Got it
tight? Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, what color is this one?
Black, yeah.
Okay, this is what's going to happen. I'm going to take the black one. I'm going to slide it in here slowly.
Nope.
Loosen it up.
Nope.
Loosen it up.
Okay.
I'm going to slide it in here, and I'm going to pull this one out.
Okay.
Slowly. I'm going to do this fast. Ready?
Okay.
Here goes. There. Did you feel me do it?
No.
Is the black one on the top or the bottom? Let that go in there.
Well, that would have been, yeah. So that would have been let's see, you took the top one. That would have been, the black one should be this one, and the red one should be that one. Okay, that was fun. Neither one are aces.
Dun, dun, dun. They changed. That was a switch.
That's fun.
So, now what?
Now what? You want to do another card trick?
No, it hasn't.
I think our audience likes to see tricks.
Well, it's not a good situation for how far it is for card tricks and stuff.
It is pretty far. That is true. Maybe we should set up a different setup next time.
Maybe
Like borrow a camera.
Maybe if we're going to do that kind of thing. The thing is, it's tough
Yeah.
to do the magic with the camera, unless you're like on top of it, and then you lose the visual of the people.
Maybe we get some glasses with cameras on them, so I can put the glasses on, and then everybody can see my perspective.
There's a thought. You put on a little visor or whatever.
Yep.
But the whole, speaking of magic, the whole concept of all this magic being done on the YouTube and stuff with the single camera lens, it's changed the whole perception of magic, because you can do amazing things when there's one eye looking at you.
That's true.
You got tunnel vision.
That is true.
There's no periphery in real life. Like in this situation, I had to do some things and keep you focused on a certain thing so I could do some chicanery.
Sure.
With the one eye, you can go over here and do whatever you want and bring it into the picture. And people do that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And it looks miraculous. And people go, oh my God, how did he do that? Well, it's really, really easy.
Right.
Because you got one focal point.
Yeah.
Yet there's some people that are doing, there's magicians that when the COVID thing happened, they just changed their act to be suitable for a camera, and they continued doing corporate shows, and the corporations would, do the things to everybody, all the employees can get on a Zoom, and they would hire a magician to do a Zoom magic show, and the things were just set up that way. Like there's a guy, Doug Kahn. He's down in New Orleans. He's a street busker guy, but he's got an amazing setup with, I think, 4 cameras. So you can take the big picture, and then like the behind the scenes picture, and then the down, if he's doing something on the table here, and something from another side. So he's doing all this stuff and switching the stuff himself.
That's cool. Well, if anybody would like to see from my perspective, you should just donate a little bit of cash. We'll go buy a camera, and I will I will do that. Yeah. Donate some cash to us. You can definitely do that.
How much is a camera?
Well, I don't know. Like, how much is I'm trying to think. Some cameras are only like $30, but they have like
Logitechs or something.
They have like little ones that can go on your eyeglasses and stuff.
Zip tie a Logitech on your glasses.
That'd be pretty big.
Just hold it too.
I could. They maybe put it on my head. I don't know.
Just strap that laptop onto your head.
Maybe.
Turn into.
I'd look kind of funny.
I know, but you wouldn't be. They wouldn't see you.
That's true. That is true.
Out with another camera taking a picture of you.
Yeah.
Taking pictures.
Yeah.
It's fascinating.
Yeah.
I'm tired.
Yeah, you're pretty tired?
Because I haven't slept for a couple of days because of
the acid reflux?
Yeah.
I'm tired because I sat for somebody this weekend, and I am tired because I have,
what do you mean?
6 kids.
You sat for some babysat?
No. Well, kind of. I guess you can call it that.
Oh, that kind of.
No, yeah. I had a ritual to perform this weekend for somebody, and it was very profound for them, and very very relaxing. And speaking of magical things to happen, they had this magical thing happen where they walked outside, and it was nighttime, and they walked outside and they looked up, and of course all I see is clouds. I look up and it's dark and it's clouds, and I'm looking up with them, and they're like, oh my God, they're shooting stars. They're everywhere. And I'm not seeing any shooting stars. Like, it's clouds. It's gray clouds. And then she looks around, and she's looking around. She goes, wow, the fireflies are just everywhere. And then as she's talking about this is the magical moment. As she's talking about the fireflies and how the fireflies are everywhere, exactly where she's looking, all of a sudden, whoop, there's one firefly. And that firefly starts to fly closer and closer And this is me perceiving it. I'm not the one who's
So she saw it before
seeing
you saw
anything.
it.
Yeah, she saw it before I saw it, and it's one firefly to begin with, and it starts to fly over, and it flies right over to her. I'm not even kidding you. It flew from like the other side of the field. I mean, this is like far away, and it's flying, and it flies all the way up as it's blinking and blinking, and it comes all the way up, and it flies right past me, and it takes this big curve, and it flies right past me, and then goes up this far from her face, and it flies up, and it hovers there for a minute as it's blinking.
That's cool.
And then it flies off, and it goes back over to where it was. And as it starts to fly back over to where it was, now the whole area is just twinkling.
Oh, went and told
with
everybody.
Tons of fireflies. And she was already going, wow, look at all those fireflies. And then the fireflies were just, and they were just like exploding, and they were there. And she goes, oh, and I see all of them over there, and I see this over here. And now there's fireflies that are starting to like be attracted to all this.
Some people look at that and just go, oh, that's just because fireflies do that. And they discount all the possibilities around all that. Maybe they're connected somehow. Like,
right.
There was when I lived in Asheville, North Carolina, it was a book or something about the butterfly. And I think it was about how the butterfly's wing can kind of create wind and it'll be all over the world, just from the butterfly.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. You're talking
about that. And I was
Yeah.
walking around in
the butterfly effect.
Yeah, I was walking around New Shawls, I think the place is called, that we're the small city that's by Asheville that we lived in. I think it was New Shawls, SCHOALES or something like that. So I'm down there. This is just after I saw that video or saw the book or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm down there just hanging out with my camera.
Mm-hmm.
And all of a sudden, this blue butterfly lands on my hand. What the hell's that all about?
Right.
And the butterfly just hanging out. And I got it on a video. It got a whole bunch of views.
Yeah.
It's still on YouTube.
Synchronicity, right?
This weird little butterfly that was there.
It's not really coincidence as much as it is synchronicity in that particular case, I would say.
Yeah. And again, when I use the word coincidence, I hyphenate it. So it's two incidences, because I think that there's something bigger than just me reading that article or the butterfly happened to be in Asheville and landed on my hand.
Absolutely.
There's something bigger that I should pay attention to.
Right. And it was the same thing. That's the way I felt about this, about the experience that happened with the fireflies this weekend. Yeah. Because she was seeing all the fireflies, and clearly, like, she was like, oh, I can really see them. That everything is so bright. It's so live, and I can really see them. I wish their things would look this way all the time. And then all of a sudden, these fireflies came out to play. Like, they were hearing that she could see them already, and they were like, oh, well, we might as well come out there.
Yeah, and the light might be some kind of communication. They were all kind of like dormant, and then all of a sudden they decided to say, hey.
That goes back to this thing, like maybe that she was seeing something on a different spectrum, right? Go back to that light spectrum thing.
Because when I was in Costa Rica, there were fireflies and stuff around there too. It was kind of fun just hanging out and watching them, because they blink and then they're going somewhere, but you don't see them until they blink again. You go, oh, he's on that direction.
Yeah.
Kind of fun watching them. And these were, I think, real.
Yeah.
You don't know.
Fireflies are awesome. I like.
How does
fireflies.
that work, fireflies? And how do electric eels work and shit like that? That's bizarre.
Bioelectrical energy. They just have a larger amount of bioelectrical energy.
Yeah, but do they have to go and like a Tesla, go get charged up or anything? Do they plug in somewhere?
No, it's natural to their body. It's a biochemical reaction.
How does that work?
Well, with the fireflies, it's chemical. It's more chemical than. Yeah, so basically they have.
Well, how does it illuminate?
Bioelectrical energy.
Yeah, it's easy to say, but
we have bioelectrical energy in our body. So it's the same thing. Like if you were to, how they have those things where there's all the electricity and everything going in those little, what are they called? Dyson spheres or whatever they are. Those little spheres where it has the electrical zapping all over, and then you touch it and all of it goes and it goes over to you.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very similar because it's reacting to your bioelectric energy. It's the same thing with a cell phone. So if I take a cell phone and I touch and it goes, hey, look, you can do things, right? That's the whole reason why you can touch it is the bioelectric
Yeah,
energy.
you can't do it with something that isn't like a stick.
Right. Yeah, well, kind of. You can actually. So it depends how old the stick is.
Yeah, it's all dried out.
If it's been dead and dried for a long time and you touch it, I mean, it's going to have its own frequency, but you know, in theory, if you were to touch both ends of it like this, you might pass something through it because wood is conductive.
Mhm.
So in theory,
Especially if it's got liquid in it.
yeah, in theory, it could work. So, I mean, that's pretty fascinating.
5:57. We almost did an hour.
5:57. Okay.
Yeah. Well, this is interesting topics.
Yeah.
Kind of went off.
I like talking about the bioluminescence and bioelectric energy. That's pretty fascinating.
It
Like,
is.
it'd be nice. We should get. Hey, so if you happen to be a a biochemist and you understand like the intricacies of how all that works and stuff, maybe you should let us know. And it looks like we have questions up there or comments. Look at that. There's something there.
Does it? Let me take a
Yeah.
peek, see, and see if we can
Yeah, let's see.
answer them. Okay, we got someone from YouTube says, "Hello, friends. Way you like, I will show you real telekinesis." And oh, he's still there. Vampiro Telekinesis. Greetings. Hey, there's somebody still there. Vampiro.
Okay.
That's his name. Vampiro Telekinesis.
Oh, nice. You dropped your mic.
Oh. I
Yeah.
was wondering what I was stepping on.
Yeah. So that's cool. That actually somebody who claims to have actual telekinesis, that would be fun to pair the two of you together. So
Yeah, let's show me some.
you could observe it.
Yeah. You want to come on our show next week?
Yeah. That could be fun. Um, you know, full disclosure, he is a professional magician and has been most of his life. So
Yeah, I'm like the amazing Randy. I'm a skeptic. Do you know who that is?
I do.
Yes.
I do know who the amazing Randy is. It's been a long time since I've seen him, but yes.
He's dead, I think.
Oh, okay. That would
That
explain
might have
it.
been why.
Maybe
Maybe he'll come
I'm like,
back.
I don't see anything of his anymore.
Maybe he'll come back. I don't know.
Yeah. So yeah, if you are still out there and you want to come on our show like next week or the week after, message this guy
And
figure it
or
out.
respond to the video. Watch the full video. It's a whole hour long, and I'll be chopping it up and putting it in shorts, and you'll be able to see the shorts.
Yeah,
And there'll be some on there that'll be telekinetic topic wise.
right. The very first
Psychokinetic.
half. I think we covered it for about 20 to 30 minutes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you have to fast forward. Okay, that's it.
All right.
We're done. Peace, love, and happiness. Enjoy the rest of the day. Be good, be kind, be nice. Did I say
Hasta
be nice?
luego.
Be nice. See you later.